Each week we hold in our service a time for sharing the joys and the sorrows that we bring with us into this community. This week, several members of the church wrote to me asking me to place stones in honor of their joy or their sorrow. The first stone that I was asked to place is from Cindy Barker. Cindy writes, "Daughter Jennifer, Brad's daughter, who became mine at age 16, has ovarian cancer. She had surgery in late January and has decided not to have chemotherapy. She has given it a lot of thought and decided she wants to totally enjoy another spring. Cindy asks that we please keep Jennifer in our hearts this spring." Paige Smith asked me to place a stone. Paige asks if we could drop a stone for her mother, Jackie Hall. The doctors have been monitoring Jackie's heart and finally decided that she needs a pacemaker now. Paige writes that we took her to Wake Forest Hospital on Friday and she's scheduled to have the procedure on Monday. Paige shares that we, of course, are not able to be with her, which is especially difficult for Paige's father. And so we hold their whole family in our hearts. Jody Savage asked me to place a stone for her son and his family. They live in New York, and Jody's son, his wife, and their child are all recovering slowly from coronavirus. Jody's daughter-in-law is pregnant and is due any day. It is frightening and overwhelming for this family. Dave Salmon asked me to place two stones. First stone is for Dave's 94-year-old first cousin, Esther, who was admitted to the hospital in New Jersey with pneumonia and has tested positive for coronavirus. And while her respiration is not bad, her kidneys are in trouble, and so we especially hold Esther in our prayers. And the second stone that Dave asked me to place is for his second cousin, David Brenner, on Long Island, who has also tested positive for coronavirus. We hold Dave's two cousins in our hearts. We place a final stone for all those joys and sorrows that we hold in our hearts that were not spoken. Won't you pray with me? Dear Spirit of life and love, be with us in this time of grief. Our hearts are moved by all this grief, all this illness and suffering, all this loss and uncertainty. Help us to openly and bravely face our fears and our struggles. Give us the courage to turn to one another, to realize that we are not alone, but that we are joined in struggle and in sympathy to one another. Help us to realize in this time what has always been true, that we are connected to one another, to all humanity, to all life, and to the earth, in complex and beautiful and fearful ways. Know that we are connected to one another, each to the other, to the doctor and the delivery driver, the college professor and the cashier, the teacher and the teller, the farm worker, as well as the factory owner. And that we are connected as well to tree and tiger and tundra and toposphere. May we respond to this deep interconnection by recognizing our part in this complex tapestry of life. Help us to make whatever stitches we can to hold this beautiful fabric together, to bless and to reconstitute the world with our living and our loving. We pray all of these prayers and the prayers of our own hearts. Amen. And won't you join with me in our words that we say as we extinguish the chalice? We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again.